What is up, Team Salim? Thank you guys so much for joining me once again, or this week, on Life by the Slice, where we are taking life one slice at a time. Thank you so much once again for you guys joining me. I really do appreciate it. It's a big shout out to everybody that's been supporting me this whole time. It's really surreal, definitely, especially since getting clean and finally living my life the way I'm supposed to and the way I deserve to. I definitely deserve everybody 150% back in me. So welcome back, you guys, and let's get into the topics. Alrighty, so we are going to get into the topic that I mentioned to you guys with my artwork, which was a day or two ago. And today we are going to be telling my HIV story, which is, for me, it is a touchy subject. But at this point, I've been educated so much. I'm living healthy. I'm at a great place in my life. So I don't feel like there was any reason for me to have shied away from telling you guys this story. As in, I feel like so many of you can benefit from just the education that I have, the road that I've traveled, and life looking forward, life moving forward. So let's get into this topic. So we are going to start with, just to keep it funky, like I said, I don't like to write down a lot of stuff for you guys. I just like to really just shoot the shit with y'all because you guys know me. We're going to start with me going into treatment, which everybody knows when I went into treatment. I went into treatment March 1st, 2019, and shout out to Terrace House, an amazing rehab. And I knew I wasn't talking that shit while I was in rehab, but in hindsight, looking back, that was one of the best places in the world for a recovering addict. So anybody that's feeling like they might, feeling that they might need help, please do yourself a favor and get help. I'll post a list of numbers for you guys, anything that you guys need. Anything you guys need to help steer you guys in the right direction, because that's what I'm here for. So, getting into the story. March 1st, 2019, I went into treatment, and I solely recall that day. This was about 9 in the morning. I remember taking the bus down to treatment, and I just remember being so helpless, so broken, so lost. Long story short, I was at my rock bottom. Everybody has their own version of rock bottom, but I definitely hit my rock bottom. So, March 1st, 2019, I decided that it was time to change my life. And I did. Thank God. But I went into treatment really praying a lot different than I had used to. I used to pray a lot. I used to pray very selfishly, very self-fulfilling. I was gluttonous. And when I got into treatment, I remember praying a lot different. And I remember the first night I got there, I remember praying to God, asking Him, and I was on my knees at this point. I remember asking God solely, like, I know I need to quit alcohol and I know I need to change my life, but I need to understand why I need to quit. Because I'm not seeing it. I'm too much of an addict. I'm too far gone. I need your help taking these blinders off so I can see what my purpose is, and like I said before, why I'm here, why my responsibilities as a man, as a son, as a husband, as a brother. I finally wanted all of that because I was finally ready to take responsibility for my actions and my addiction and live the good life that I know I deserve. So, with that being said, my prayers were answered. And we're going to fast forward to March 5th. March 5th, we had a gentleman from Evergreen come into the rehab facility that I was a resident of. And this gentleman came in, and I'm not going to lie to you, I had never heard of Evergreen before this. And he came in and he was asking. He came in doing free HIV testing, which is amazing, especially when you're in rehab, because the situations we all come from and the risky behaviors we all partake in. A lot of us don't know our statuses on health, anything. And for anyone to really say they kept up on their health, you're a fucking liar. But getting into it, this great gentleman, I don't remember, I don't know if his name was Joshua. I know it started with a J, but I know his last name was Moore. So Mr. J. Moore, shout out to you. You're awesome. Thank you for everything you've done for me up until this point. He came in giving free HIV testing, and me, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think I had any disease. So of course I didn't have to be arrogant, but I was arrogant. And as you guys know, I can be arrogant, but I'm not really too much of myself. I'm not really like that. Not all the time, at least. But he asked who wanted a free HIV test. And I would say half the room raised their hands. But me being Salim, I was the first one to throw my hand up. Thinking in my mind, you know what, I'm not fucking HIV positive. I don't have any diseases. I'm just an alcoholic. That's it. That's all I'm here for, is to get treatment for my addiction. I wasn't even looking for mental health treatment. I wasn't looking for any of that. I didn't care. But the one gentleman goes, there was a gentleman that went before me for testing, and he mentioned something about being nervous, but we all were, a little bit. Everybody had to be. But I solely recall the gentleman coming out of the room with a pink slip of paper. And I remember the guy coming, I remember one of my fellow residences, I remember him coming out of the room with Mr. Moore, who was doing the HIV testing. And I recall seeing the biggest smile on this man's face. He had a pink slip that said he was negative. And with that pink slip of paper, whether you were HIV positive or not, you still came out with that paper. You didn't have to disclose to anybody nothing that was going on. We're in rehab, so I'm gonna put it this way. We're in rehab, so guess what? If you know what the HIPAA law is, nobody can disclose any of your personal business, none of that shit. Or big trouble, big lawsuits, all of that follows. But the guy came out with a negative pink slip, and I was convinced myself that I would be going into and coming out of that room with a negative result. So it's my turn at this point. I meet Mr. Moore, shake his hand, and Mr. Moore is a great guy, really great guy. But I solely recall him just being the nicest guy in the world, really warming. Me and him, we really hit it off. Almost to the point where I wasn't even worried about the HIV testing. Somehow, some way, I was just like, you know what, I'm negative, I'm just getting a test. This will be over in 20 minutes. So with that being said, he pricks my finger, gets my blood, wipes it on this little sheet for the testing. And over the course of 20 minutes, we had like the most amazing conversation. It definitely took a weight off my shoulder. It took anxiety off. It took anxiety off my chest at that time, because I was nervous as into what the result would be. Although I had 150% in my mind. Assume that I assumed that I would be negative. I'm sorry, you guys. I thought this would be a little less touchy, but it's very touchy. So we have a conversation for the course of 20 minutes. That's how long the HIV test took. But something in my body started to get really, really frigid and cold. It was almost like some form of self-realization, and I started to realize I could potentially be HIV positive. So with that being said, I have 20 seconds left on this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this video up, and I am going to get into the bigger gist of the story, which is just join me for the next video and we'll get right to it. But yeah, just join me for the next video and we're going to get straight right into the story. Alright, you guys, like I said, and the reason why I'm stopping this video right now is because we are officially done with the cutout bullshit. I don't want you guys feeling like, oh, this video keeps cutting out, this guy's YouTube channel sucks. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure just to tweak certain little things and just to make sure you guys have a great viewing experience. So we're going to get to part 2, and we're going to get to the big gist of the story and just the education that I feel like you guys could use. So yeah, I will be seeing you guys for part 2. Just hang on tight, and I will be uploading that. That'll be following short after. See you in a minute.